Keep away from me, Smith. I'm an agent of Goldstein. I didn't know it myself. Thought crime was so insidious. It just creeps up on you. My daughter found it out. Very proud of her. Very grateful I've been discovered before it's too late. They won't shoot me, will they, Smith? I know I could be very useful in a labor camp.
Room 101.
No. Please. You don't have to take me there. Why? There's nothing I won't confess. Nothing. I've told you everything already. What is it you want me to know? Take him instead of me. He's the thought criminal. It's him you want.
What a day. What a yesterday. A lot to unpack. New faces I see. Not necessarily friendly people, but I wanted to touch on that today. I wanted to unpack a lot of things. And I don't even know where to begin. But I will try to not say a million times. So, as most of you have heard by now, certain people, certain networks are becoming infamous, and that's for a reason. These people are deemed dangerous, and even more dangerously, they're deemed extremists. But what is extreme now? You tell me, what's extreme? Somebody was murdered by police yesterday. If it was another person murdered by police, there would be outrage about that incident. That seems extreme. I've been getting a lot of private messages on different platforms and whatnot. Hey man, are y'all okay? It's looking really bad. Well, let's ask ourselves why it's looking really bad. It's looking bad because, and not to sound cliche, but this needs to come back to the forefront. You're witnessing tyranny. There's no other way around it. You have two sets of rules for different groups. Now, one of these groups, let's just call it the left, is able to do what was done in Washington to a much more extreme degree. I don't think we're reaching saying that. There were no fires yesterday. There were no rapes. There were no murders from the protesters, not on their side. But you watched armed goons tyrants and tyrant defenders murder a woman in what looked to me to be very unprovoked. Now, we've put out at least 3 videos showing different angles, and it really stands out. It's really haunting what they're willing to do to you, but they hesitate to their own detriment to do it when they're under actual attack. So people keep texting and writing in, and I just wanted to tell you, it's fine. Don't worry about it. It's going to be okay. What do I mean by that? I mean, what's going to happen is going to happen. Usually things tend to fizzle out. And as nervous as people are, I kind of hope it doesn't. I think what's happening is they, and if you look at who they are, it's a lot of people. It's your government as a whole. It's not the left, it's not the right, it's your government. It's their propaganda arms, which includes your traditional video media, your ABCs, CBS, MSNBC, Fox. But what's most telling and most annoying is the politicians and the verbiage that they're using. And these are people that you thought were your friends. You thought they were on your side. You thought they represented you. And I think the most important thing that I can ask you to pay attention to is that that's not true. They're just taking your money. They're extorting you. These are professional racketeers. These are legal racketeers with armed goons that are there to stop you if you dare step out of line and you're of the wrong political ideology. So what's happening now is the fear play. They are afraid, and that is why they are having this reaction, because they know that what happened yesterday is actually dangerous to their system. Now let's get into their system, and let's get into the arms of their system. All the places their tentacles reach. And let's not be conspiratorial. Let's stick to the facts. Because we're already labeled extremists. Yesterday we were labeled Antifa. But let me tell you about Antifa. Let's start there. So, all the usual suspects have found out who Murder the Media are. Not that it was ever hidden. It was just unpopular. Because we're not very good. I'm kidding. We're great. And now it's going to get out there who we really are. But let's let it get out there who the left really is. These people rioting and claiming to be anti-system, anti-government. These same people are now using the FBI's systems to get people arrested and fined and in trouble, and probably worse. They probably want the FBI to show up to your door and kill you, which the FBI will do, tyrants. And these same people that claim to be against the system, the same people that have encouraged and participated in well over 200 days of rioting, looting, burning, raping, autonomous zones. Where was the government when they were taking over American cities? Oh, it got too close to them. And now they're freaking out. Now they're saying they're going to do something about it. And they will do something about it. Mind you, every time an action has been taken against our government that makes the government look weak, they get their pound of flesh. They control you through fear. That's why they burn children in Waco. That's why they assassinate people after the Bureau of Land Management fiasco. They will get their pound of flesh. And everybody on the ground, and everybody that was on camera, and everybody that's talking about it, everybody that's being honest about it, is afraid right now. This includes me. But I will not be afraid to the point where I'll stop telling you the truth, where I'll stop showing you what these people do across the board to keep control. And these people include Antifa, Black Lives Matter, Marxist movements, those are controlled movements supported and created in a lot of scenarios by the government. Why do they do this? They sow division. Shouldn't Antifa, whether you want them to or not, whether you agree with them or not, shouldn't they, in all their rhetoric and all their bullshit about being anti-government and establishment and changing the system, why are they not saying, I think what happened at the Capitol was great? Isn't that interesting? Do you stop at all and ask yourself, if these people were really what you were told they were, what they claim to be, why is there no cohesion when it comes to supposedly the same goals that they want? The disinformation is another thing we got to get into. The disinformation, the misinformation. People I've never seen, I've never heard of, that follow us on Parler and Telegram are spreading rumors and lies. And to me it sounds like government narratives. Yesterday on Parler we were accused of being Antifa. Watch the shows. We've never been pro-Antifa. Have we been anti-establishment? Absolutely. I thought Antifa was anti-establishment. But isn't the right at this point anti-establishment as well? Think about it. If you are let's call you an average Republican, have you been happy with your representation in Washington? If you were to poll people, and not in a fun way, they would tell you no. No, the distrust of the government is rampant in the United States. The distrust of the media is rampant in the United States. And let's get to the media real quick, because I'm trying to plow through all the things as they come to me. Not in a fun way. The media is not a trusted source. Yet, people are running with these media narratives about what happened yesterday. Nobody knows what happened yesterday. But the last people I'm going to believe what happened when they tell me is the people that have been lying to you for 4 years. So why the fuck would you send me all the information from these people and all their different claims? Here's an example. Here's a good example. If you were watching yesterday, you were watching what we were putting up on Parler. Two of our people took a photograph with a man dressed as a buffalo and his face painted with an American flag. And immediately, if you started reading the comments, and these are people who I just don't think they knew any better. But a lot of you people get a tiny bit of information, and then you run with it to the detriment of your own movement. Maybe you should just shut the fuck up every now and then. Am I mad at you? Yeah. Yeah. You are sowing division without realizing it. The man in the buffalo costume, I talked to a friend of mine in Arizona who knows the guy, and he said he's been giving speeches for Stop the Steal rallies for weeks now. You keep sending me a picture of this man holding a sign that you can't see because you cropped the original photo, and behind him, 20 feet behind him, is some asshole sitting there with the Black Lives Matter sign. And you say, this guy went to a Black Lives Matter rally. This was repeated by James O'Keefe. This was repeated by Sidney Powell. These are people you trusted. And keep in mind, these people, apparently, they lied to you. Cracking my fucking ass. Didn't crack shit. It almost seems like these people, unbeknownst to us until this very moment in time, as Trump is no longer president, have been keeping you docile by lying to you about some strategy that they never had. Be angry if you want. It's the fucking truth. Where are we at right now? Be angry. Be mad that I said Sidney Powell was a distraction. I don't give a shit. I don't really want you here. If you believe that that woman was telling the truth, then why are they lying about a guy at the Capitol who was there, by the way, being Black Lives Matter? Shouldn't this person who's so informed look into that before she starts telling bullshit? And shouldn't you maybe be responsible for looking into it before you then repeat that bullshit? And maybe you should stop and think that you share responsibility for sowing division through misinformation. But I've noticed that's a huge problem on the right. You never look into anything. You just fucking post it. When you post so many lies and you're questioning on it and you go, oh, I don't care. They're bad people. Well, it still makes you look like a fucking liar, and then people don't trust you. I mean, take a break from the stepping on your own feet for a second. Oh, these are extremists. These are Antifa. Yeah, so let me tell you the problem with the Antifa narrative. Even if Antifa was at the Capitol, even if that was Antifa smashing windows, it doesn't matter at this point. But I'll stop right there and I'll go back. There was maybe 1% of people there that were Antifa. And if this 1% of people encouraged all these boomer patriots, which I respect now, to go into their own house, stop saying storm the building. They entered the building they pay for. They entered the building that they're extorted to pay for. Storm the building extremists. So what's happening now is Washington and the media, who is complicit in Washington's bullshit. By the way, we'll get to the media, but just let me point this out. As all these media people, the mainstream media, tries to make you think that they're righteous and justifiable, just remember, there are hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of deaths on their hands from their war-pushing propaganda, from their prescription-selling advertisers and commercials, because that's what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. They don't give a shit about the truth. They don't give a shit about the news. They print what they're told to print, and they get paid for it. That's all there is to it. So before you go judging sites and shows like Murder the Media and other alternative news, we're not paid by Big Pharma. We're not paid by defense contractors. Your current media establishment has been pushing for war that has cost Americans between, because we don't even know, $6 and $10 trillion. Enjoy your $600, America. $6 and $10 trillion. Think about all the other things they push for. Let's not get into it. You should know. But if the media dare accuses people like us of being extremists, you have way more blood on your hands. We have zero. We didn't kill anybody yesterday. You murdered people. And now you're spinning it. Now you're spinning, oh, these people. Violent, dangerous extremists. We didn't murder anybody. We didn't set any fires. We didn't rape anybody in the hallway. You shot a woman in the neck unprovoked. And we're the extremists, everybody. Well, there's 80 million extremists then, minimum. Stop watching their bullshit. And their bullshit includes the government bullshit. Let's get into some of that while I'm thinking about it. Let's see what our government that we pay, let's watch them talk down to us and call us extremists and bad people. And how we're going to pay, and how they're going to use the FBI with our money. You will see one of your right-wing leaders say, money's not an object. We'll find out who these people are. We'll get them. Because you couldn't get them yesterday. The rhetoric is very reminiscent of the gulag mentality. They can't get you as a group. But they will come knock on your door and they will arrest you at your home by yourself in the middle of the night. Should you be afraid? Yes, you should be afraid. Let's check this out.
So what am I calling for? I'm calling for a joint task force to be assembled and spend all the time and money necessary to identify every person who breached.
All the time and money necessary, because they love spending your money.
The security of the Capitol, who occupied the chambers,
peacefully. Because keep in mind, we're comparing what the media and the government has been calling peaceful protests for over 200 days. Those are peaceful. Oh, 95% of these protests from the left, they're 95% of them are peaceful. Only 5% aren't. So that's a mostly peaceful protest, right? So think about that as they're calling you an extremist.
Who invaded offices and destroyed property. There's a ton of video.
Now they care about property destruction. Now they care about invasion of offices. Think of all the businesses that have been burned. Think of all the car lots that have been burned. All the property that's been destroyed. And now they care, and now they will do everything they can to shut you down. This is a fear campaign.
No evidence out there. I was interviewed this morning by 2 FBI agents. They came to my house wanting to know if I had any surveillance cameras outside my house. I did not. But I'm encouraged they're on the case.
Your right-wing representative is encouraged that the FBI is on the case. Did he ever encourage them to do anything about all the other peaceful protests that have been going on? The right took one day and did what has never been done before. And that's why they're freaking out. That's why they want the FBI arresting all of you. You pay for the FBI. The FBI is a very dangerous organization, as are the other law enforcement branches of the federal government. But why don't they do anything about what's been going on? Let's take the elections aside. Let's focus on, there was a protest at the Capitol. The protesters won. They didn't even have fucking guns. So think about that. They went in unarmed against armed agents. One of them was murdered. 4 people died in total. You saw us post a video of the Capitol Police throwing a man off a 50-foot balcony. They don't do this to protesters on the other side. And that's another thing. The other side, quote, in other words, the blue checks on Twitter that don't participate in these things, they just encourage mass division. These things don't happen to them, but they're on their bullshit government-sanctioned high horses with their confirmed accounts, and they're saying that woman deserved to die. They're saying that woman is a Nazi that deserved to die. You don't believe me? Check the parlor. It's on there. You don't believe me? Just go look at Twitter if you want to. Just go look at it. Go put in Ashley Babbitt's name, and you look at all the evil motherfuckers on there going, I'm glad she's dead. I'm glad that fucking Nazi was dead. And you're the extremist, and they will pay any amount of money to get you. And your right-wing representatives will lead the fight.
In the social media world that exists today, it won't be that hard to find thousands of people who took the law in their own hands.
Okay, now this is important that we touch on what he just said. With social media today, we should be able to find thousands of people. This is an old communist tactic. They want you to rat on each other. And the left totally wants to participate. Now remember, the left, who's against the system and against law enforcement and all cops are bastards and abolish prisons, are champing at the bit to get people prosecuted by the FBI. You are not opposition to the system. You are the system. You are the system. You are part of tyranny. You participate in tyranny. Because it's not real. All your bullshit you spew isn't real. Imagine, you fucking losers, if you could just not be divided. That's everybody, left and right. Why don't you sort your differences out later and realize that at the heart of the problem is one entity. And you saw in Washington what happens when people get together and protest. If Antifa was there, if Black Lives Matter was there, if all kinds of organizations across the spectrum or different political groups and ideologies across the spectrum were there, that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. If we all agree that the government is out of control, why are we constantly fighting each other? And the right is bad about this. The right is horrible with this. The left, I mean, they defend child rapists. They defend transsexual children. They defend just the most abhorrent shit. Or at the very least, they don't speak out against it. They have cohesion. And they need to have cohesion because they're not as big of a group as they would like you to think. As the government would like you to think. As Antifa would like you to think. If those people were real, if those people had actual numbers of any consequence, why weren't they there fighting the white supremacist Nazis? Because when the right finally got their head out of their ass and they go, you know what? This is it. This is the last chance. It's the last chance. There was rumors of a minimum of 200,000 people and as much as 2 million. And I haven't heard anything official. But I'll tell you this, even if I heard something official, I wouldn't believe it. I don't care if the official count is 5 million. I stopped listening to these people. They're fucking liars. Don't participate in their lies. Don't send out stories about, oh, Antifa broke the windows. That's what started it all. Well, your representative isn't going after Antifa. He never has. Oh, they might talk about it on camera, so you see it and you go, he's out there doing something. He's out there representing us. He's not representing shit. He's representing keeping his job of keeping his boot on your neck. Do you not believe that? Do you not think that's what they're all doing? I mean, how much shit are you going to eat before you at least just turn your back on people like this? You keep voting for them and you keep going, well, could be worse. Yeah, it could be, and it's gonna be. It's just a matter of time. You're just delaying the inevitable. They're gonna use social media to go after protesters and extremists, and they're gonna use the FBI, and they're gonna use all the money they have. Money's no problem. We got all the money we need. We will pay for an investigation into all these people. Have you once ever heard this man say anything remotely similar to that about the left? Has he ever said anything about anything close at all to we're going to spend all the money we need to get these extremists and fuck them up, and the FBI is going to do everything they can in their power to find every one of these thousands of people? They've never said that about the people burning, looting, rioting, murdering, taking over cities. It doesn't happen. So I hope this man just lost faith. Or I hope everybody just lost faith in this man. If you had faith in anybody in government at this point, which if you did, I don't understand. I mean, I guess I could get it. A lot of people still get their news from all the same old sources. The ones that have been lying to you, the ones that have been pushing and advocating for war. Think about when Trump talked about withdrawing troops from one of the many nations we occupy. The anti-Bush, anti-war media and the anti-war left, the historically anti-war left, pushed back against that and says, you can't pull those troops out. What are you, crazy? For the first time in history, your media has you so fucked up that the left was more pro-war than the right for the first time in American history. The left and the right were polled, and for the first time in history, there were more people on the left that wanted to remain at war than the right. What does that tell you? That tells me that these people you trust, these media people who are in bed with the government, who are in bed with their investors and their advertisers and their donators, absolutely have an effect. So when you parrot their bullshit, when you repeat their bullshit, it's only helping them. And their accuracy rating is horrible. Think about this. InfoWars, which is constantly ridiculed as a conspiracy theorist site, is more accurate than your mainstream media. Look it up. Until Sandy Hook, they really weren't questioned on their accuracy. They were called loons and crazy. And then you looked into it and you go, oh, 99% accuracy rating. They couldn't get them on anything. And that was dangerous because they got more and more popular. So what happened? They played on your sympathies. And they go, Alex Jones denied Sandy Hook. This is it. InfoWars gets more viewers than all the major news networks. We got to shut him down. People are listening to the wrong source. They're listening to non-sanctioned news. You think you're in a free country? Yeah, right. I'm going to keep going with this video. I don't know how much more is left, but just listen to your representative.
The people sitting in the chairs need to be sitting in a jail cell.
I agree, but not the people from the protest sitting in the chairs.
The people who...
Also keep in mind, America loves locking motherfuckers up. America is one of the few countries with privatized prisons. A lot of people have been convinced that that's a good thing. It's not a good thing. Also, why are so many people incarcerated in the United States? If you go, oh, well, you know, certain people are more likely to be arrested. Who is in control at the heart of all these things? Why is there so much crime in the United States? Why is there so much poverty in the United States? Because your representatives give jobs away to people from other countries when we're in a depression. They keep people here that shouldn't be here. They give them money. It's their money. It's not your money. Oh, well, these people are poor and they're refugees. Why is it that the United States was the only country in history expected to fight for its freedom against a tyrannical regime, which at the time was the most powerful military in the world? And now anytime there's a conflict, we just accept young men, refugees, from countries that historically we do not get along with. A lot of that is our fault, but that doesn't mean we have to take their refugees. The media sits there and tells you, oh, it's these poor women and children. But look at every fucking boat that comes over. It's young fighting-aged men. Take your country back. But our representatives don't want that. Why do they want more people here, especially in a time like this? Because they need more people that disagree with other people, because division is how they keep control. You have to stop letting yourself be distracted. You have to stop letting yourself be divided. That is their tactic. That is their MO. That's what they do. It's no coincidence that this country, as it falls apart, as COVID hits, as businesses are closed, they do nothing to stop it. They sell you a bullshit vaccine. They don't stop any of this. They need this. They want this. And if they truly are the most powerful, richest government in the world, they could obviously put a stop to all of this, but they don't want to put a stop to it. By you fighting amongst each other and other groups, they maintain power. There's no way around it. While you're fighting Antifa and BLM in the streets, and if you were to believe Antifa and BLM and their rhetoric about being anti-establishment, while they're fighting you in the streets, these people go about their business of doing whatever they want, enriching themselves, grabbing more power, and now calling for you to be sent to a gulag for sitting in a chair that you paid for. The audacity.
The Capitol Hill police need to be charged with attacking a police officer.
The cops murdered a woman. If that was a black woman at a protest and the cop was white, I mean, I shouldn't compare these things because they really don't matter. But it's important to keep in mind the things people like this say, the people that are supposedly on your side. Just imagine if the tables were turned. Look at that face.
Sedition may be a charge for some of these people.
Now they put sedition charges out there. No sedition charges for any of the people that already rioted and burned shit for 3 days in D.C. Do you remember that? You probably don't. You probably memory hold it. They have already rioted and burned at the Capitol. They didn't make it inside because, well, they didn't have enough people. Let's be honest. But you didn't see fires and murder and mayhem. Well, you saw a little mayhem, but, you know, it's to be expected when there's so many people in such a small area. But hear me out. Now they're talking sedition. Now they're talking, you know, throwing the book at these people. You know, pulling out the laws that have already been there that they have not used against people that did the same thing to a more extreme degree than what happened in D.C. yesterday. Now they want to use terms like sedition. At the same time, Antifa has never made any bones about saying, hey, I want the government over. I want all cops dead. I want the system to collapse. I want a communist or socialist utopia. Down with the government. Down with prisons. Down with cops. Down with the Constitution. Down with free speech. That's not sedition. But you going into your own house, that's sedition.
So I will, for the next 6 years, God willing, every week ask of the Department of Justice, starting with this Department of Justice and the next Department of Justice.
Did you catch that? The next Department of Justice, because this one's on the way out. We didn't do what we said we would do. Oh, remember how they're supposed to represent your interests? Or even more than your interests, they're supposed to just do what you want them to do. And you wanted them to do their job with this election. And just step by step, they said, oh yeah, we'll do it. We'll look into it. No, nothing to see here. Welcome Biden. Welcome the new president. Your representatives. And then you just heard him say, we're going to have a committee. Has there ever been a committee formed for all the other lawlessness going on? Which was more organized, by the way. You got to understand, they're trying to hang Trump on the idea that he made a tweet saying, come to the Capitol, stop the steal. And they're going, well, organized crime. Now, people like myself, people that are doing, you know, alternative news and on, you know, not as popular platforms like Telegram, we see the communications between the left. We see the organization that goes on behind the scenes when it comes to these groups, these peaceful protest groups. And they're trying to pretend that the right is trying to pretend that all these people at the Capitol, that was some massively organized effort. No, angry people showed up, and that's what happens. Angry people showed up. That's it. But this guy is going to form a committee, and he will not rest until every one of these people is brought to justice. You have no justice, American people. They want their justice. They want their pound of flesh. You get nothing. You get to pay for it. That's it. But this man is going to form a committee, and it doesn't matter how long it takes, all these people will pay.
What kind of progress are you making in holding those accountable, the domestic terrorists who took over?
You're domestic terrorists now. These other people, they weren't domestic terrorists. You're domestic terrorists.
The House and the Senate chambers and laid waste to Capitol Hill. What do you need that you don't have? If you need more prosecutors, money will not be an object.
Your money will not be an object to prosecute you, American people. The gall of these fucking people, man. The gall of these people. And you assholes on the left talking about anti-establishment, you're all for this. You love it. You're not anti-establishment. You're part of the system. And I think a lot of you know it. I think your handlers know it, and you're too stupid to see it. You wanted change. My fucking ass. You got it, and now you're turning on everybody.
Need more investigators. Will provide you the resources. This is a...
They will provide them the resources. They will provide the money. Money's no object. They will provide them with all all of their money to prosecute you for peacefully protesting.
A moment for the nation to show will and determination, to be a nation of laws, that anarchy shall not reign.
Bullshit. Anarchy has been reigning. It's been raining shit all over the American people while you rise above it. While you continue your illegal wars. While you continue extorting money from the American people. Get your fucking tax money while the country is shut down, which you're complicit with. Now they want blood, and they will get it.
Constitution control.
This isn't over. They're going to do this. They're going to follow through with all this. Are you going to go along with it?
Not the mob.
Do you feel like that man represents you? Is there anybody, let me check the comments real quick. Is there anybody watching that goes, yeah, you know what, he's right. He's right. That's a good man there. It's a good man there, Lindsey Graham. I don't think anybody likes this guy. You know, like let's say if it happened to be his approval rating was 50%. I'll bet that's just what the media tells you it is. It's probably 10. I believe Congress has, for the last 20 years, had a approval rating in the single digits. So why do we keep doing it? Why do we keep putting up with it? Nobody likes these people. The left, the right, nobody likes these people. They're beginning to be celebritized. That's no mistake. That's no accident. The left loves their celebrity politicians. Keep in mind, the left, as they sit there and they go, oh, there's too many people in prison, and we need to do all this reforms, and we need to legalize drugs, and we need to do all that. Your vice president and soon to be president, Kamala Harris, you know her history on prosecutions. You know it. You know her dirty dealings with the state of California for free labor. And you praise her as this, oh, she's the future. She's going to be so great. Woman, person of color, what could go wrong? Oh, I don't know. Look at her fucking record against black people that she's had locked up, that she's had kept in jail longer than their sentences for their free fucking labor. That's called slavery, you fucking idiots. But she's a celebrity now. Our fucking celebrity politicians, we can't get enough of them. Let's get back into the shit that they're trying to sell you in the news versus reality. Your government and your news organizations are all telling you, this is bad. And you people are bad. And you're the minority. This isn't normal. You're all angry, guys. Everybody I know is angry. A lot of people I know are unemployed. These people talk about money is no object when it comes to prosecuting you. Oh, but if you need some of your tax money back because we closed your business, whoa, money is an object. It is an object. I don't know if... Hold on now. Socialism for the rich. Blah, blah, blah. Like, socialism isn't rampant in this country. You give them all your money, they manipulate it to where they give you some of it back, and you're supposed to be grateful. Meanwhile, these are the same people that have been in power that have watched your money, your wages stagnate for years. And it's all because of their policies. Sure, you can get mad at illegals. You can get mad at even legal immigration, which is a problem in this country. And it's just basic economics. You know, I will be called a racist and a xenophobe. I don't give a shit anymore. But the point is, why are you still importing people to compete against American workers? The Republican Party is very bad about that. The left is all for it, obviously. But so is the right. And that's another thing. Fuck the left. I'm not talking to them right now. But if you're on the right, one game you keep playing to your own detriment is that, oh, left bad, right good. I just showed you a video of what you consider right. It has nothing to do with left and right anymore. It's just about the people who oppress you. That's it. By you playing their political football game, you've chosen a team, and you want your team to win. But when your team wins, do you benefit? No. You don't benefit. You haven't benefited in forever. It doesn't happen. They've been using you. They've been extorting you your entire life. You're told now that the American dream is to pay taxes and be a good citizen. But they make that harder and harder and harder every day. The government is the ones responsible for the lockdowns. The government is the ones responsible for allowing the rioting. They're responsible for everything. If the government is the CEO of the country, isn't the CEO the one who's in charge of everything? I know a lot of you want to go, well, no, that would be the president. The president really isn't in charge of anything. He's not the one that's making these laws and passing these laws. He's got executive orders, which, keep in mind, he had to do that because your team wouldn't play ball. They wouldn't push hard enough. So all of those executive orders that you liked that Trump did, Biden's just going to reverse them. There's your government in action. And is the right going to stop them? No. There's not really a left and a right. There's them. And then there's you. I mean, you've all heard the quotes. You've all heard the great sayings of George Carlin. But I digress. But anyway, you're going to be told that this was a bad move and this was dangerous. And the media is going to tell you, oh, these extremists. Your extremists are extremists because they're a small portion of the overall. Once the extremists become a high enough of a percentage, they're no longer extremists. They're normal, whether you like it or not. It's no longer extreme when it's normal. It's impossible. But let's check out what the people believe before they're manipulated by the media and the government and all the bullshit lies and propaganda that they're going to throw out there about this entire thing and confuse people, because it's so easy to divide you. But before you're divided, let's look at the numbers. 1 in 5 voters, including 45% of Republicans, approve of the storming of the Capitol building. Voters who believe enough fraud took place at the presidential election to change the outcome. Majority. Supporters of the president have stormed the U.S. Capitol to protest lawmakers certifying Joe Biden's election victory. Based on what you have read or heard about this, do you support these actions? So if you're a Republican, you're an extremist. Half of all Republicans that answered this are extremists. Think about that. So that's all I wanted to show everybody today. That's all I wanted to take care of. I try to make this a 30-minute show, but a lot of the times, most of the time, I go over. But I want to say thank you for everybody tuning in, and don't be influenced by the same people who are responsible for influencing you your entire lives. Maybe that's not working. Do you feel like we've gotten better? Do you feel like we've been making progress? Look around you. Did the government make anything better? They didn't. Thanks for watching, everybody. We do this show Monday through Friday. Then Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we do another show called Thunderdome TV. Of course, there are other shows on this network. You got BlackVill'd podcast. We're introducing new shows this year that have not been seen on the network yet. But you got Shotcast. This is how crazy and militant we are. They do shots when you donate a certain amount of money, and they just talk about sports and stuff. I'm not downplaying you, Shotcast. I'm just letting the normies know there's other content to watch other than your mainstream media and your sports ball. You got, want to name some of the other shows we got? Echo Chamber. You got Echo Chamber. And then we just do some random stuff now and then. But stay tuned, click that follow button. Make sure your notifications are on, and you'll see whenever we go live. Sometimes we go live exclusively to DLive, who, by the way, X-tagged us, which is a virtual shadow ban. We still don't know why. They say we were playing Riot streams. We didn't play Riot streams. You saw a man reporting from the Capitol. Anyway, that's how they do it. But, you know, if DLive wants to kill itself, if it wants to destroy its own platform, that's fine. We're not going to stop. We're going to ride the wave. We're going to get bigger. We're going to keep bringing y'all, you know, entertainment, news, fun, all that stuff. So